Yo, what's good, guys? I've had a pretty terrible past few days. Really, just like last night, mental health was pretty terrible. But I mean, it's always not that great. Um, I don't know why I even said that, but I don't even know if I can fully articulate what I'm trying to say in here. Which happens with like a lot of stuff that I think about. If I ever am thinking, I feel like my mind is like either kind of like just blank. It's like retarded, or it kind of goes and just has instant realizations. There's no like in between really. And there's in between. Anyway, I'm a retard, so you probably shouldn't trust what I say. And I haven't really thought it out much, but this is probably gonna be titled something like, "Why do we treat mental illness different than personality?" Or I don't know how to word this because I'm a lazy. I'm gonna try to word this, but I'm gonna come up with a future video more in depth on this. I feel like it's like I'm driven to. Sorry for the lengthy intro. Basically, I'm kind of, I don't believe in free will. Okay. And even if I did believe in free will, I'll just go off what so I don't believe in free will. And like, it's not even just, there's like, I think physicists argue something along the lines of it's like everything was already determined. I don't know if it's like, I guess all the movement of every particle is determined or something like that. I don't know, but assuming that's true, then, if that's true, obviously free will doesn't exist. But for me, it's more of a, like, from a genetic perspective, it's like when someone makes a choice. I'm not going to go into it that much, or maybe I'll try. Like, it's like when someone makes a choice, right? It's just their hard wiring, and they can't act outside that hard wiring. Like, it's like this isn't. I guess there's no point in explaining this because like my explanation's only going to be good enough to get those who already agree with your genetics basically determining everything. Like, the people who already agree with that, it's just going to remind them of the truth, while it's not going to be in depth enough to convince people who don't already believe in it. But regardless, it's something along the lines of, just like your genetics determine everything. Well, I'm not going to say obviously. In my belief of the truth is that, it's like your genetics determine everything. And even if environment plays a role, which could be, environment can be a lot of different things, kind of like there could be different ways you interpret that, I guess, but even if it's the environment, it doesn't make it any more you. Like, I don't know why people like because the environment wouldn't be under your control either. So like, even if it's like environment or genetics, pick one or both. It doesn't fucking matter. The two things aren't under your control. Anyway, so I don't really believe in free will, and it's like genetics, determine everything to me, or environment, whatever, regardless, and like just randomness, all things outside of your control determine your choices. And then it's like people, and so they don't like when you see a school shooter. Actually, let me chill. When you see someone doing something really, quote unquote bad, I'm not a believer in universal objective morality, but when you see, like, when somebody does something quote unquote bad, and like people act as if they could have made a different choice, or as if they would have, it's kind of it's like, don't you think that if they I don't know, guys. This is not going to be articulated. This is going to be articulated like shit. Maybe because that could either mean I'm retarded or I'm just not good at explaining, or both. But then, anyway, I bring this up because I was like watching a video about some school shooter. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. I guess you can. And I'm not advocating. I don't think their action's okay, YouTube. I think it's a terrible thing. Anyway. And then someone said, like, there was some school shooter who had like a tumor, or some quote unquote bad person had like a tumor which affected their action. So it determines like the tumor was making them do bad stuff. And it's like, why is that any different than just what difference does that make? And this is not me arguing that like they shouldn't have any, be given any mercy because a tumor was at fault. I'm saying that you should the same logic that, like, I don't know if it should, but I feel that the same logic where you're like, oh, the tumor was at fault. It's like this thing was controlling them, so like it can't really be blamed. I feel like you kind of have to apply that to every single person who ever exists. And like this isn't gonna make there has to be some like, I'm actually like, what's the word? I guess you can call it preconditions or whatever. There have to be some assumptions upon like what the truth is, again, like regarding like free will or the lack of, and in the case of my belief of the truth. It's like this isn't gonna convince people again who don't believe in what I or you, the viewer watching this, does. But regardless, I'm gonna say just my beliefs. You can argue they're wrong, but free will does not exist, and it doesn't exist from a physics perspective. It seems, not that I've looked into it, but I'm gonna trust these smart physicists. But I'm gonna look into it out of curiosity. If I'm even smart enough to understand it, probably not. But it also doesn't exist, I would argue, from a kind of genetics perspective. It's not just that we're predetermined to do certain things. It's that the way I would argue, your brain is kind of it's an automatic machine with made up of code, and that code that you can't act outside of determines its own actions. And it's kind of just an automatic system, and all of the change and the back and forth is automatic too. It's like when the code fights against itself, that's just another part of the code that's there from genetics or environment or whatever. Two things which aren't under your control. It doesn't really matter to me. Anyway. And so it's like there's an argument where it's like you can't really blame them if a tumor was making them do bad things because it's something out of their control. I applied the same thing to every single person's actions. And if you do believe in free will, then I suppose, we don't have to apply this. We can't really apply the logic, but assuming free will doesn't exist, I mean, if you're going to apply that logic to someone with something else forcing them to do something or impacting them, you should apply it to the brain as well. It's more, I don't know if you would. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna like think about this a bit more to try to better articulate it. And there's probably flaws or counter arguments, or whatever. But I'm not like I'm just. If I sound like sad or depressed, I mean I am in many cases, but not because of this. I'm just very tired. I haven't been able to sleep well for whatever fucking reason. For some reason, I was cleaning my room, which I haven't done in like over like a year. Really, like seriously cleaned it. It just takes so much effort. But I have a bit more energy. Like, I'm not as frustrated over the lack of sleep. I guess my mind kind of went off of it a bit. I'm gonna go meditate, guys. Anyway, yeah, I don't believe in free will. Sorry for the shit explanation. I'm gonna probably re-explain this like in 5 videos. Like not just like in 5. Like I'm gonna probably make like 5 more videos on this and explanations. And I suppose I should prove the premises first, which is like hard because I'm so fucking lazy. But that's not an excuse. It's just a reality. I'm just saying like it may affect my behavior. Alright, guys. I'm gonna see y'all.